Let's look at how we can work with multiple page sizes in InDesign. So there really are two ways to do this. First, let's do a file and new document. And this would be the case if you were to be working with a client who needed a letterhead and they needed a business card. Those are obviously two different sizes and it gets a little tricky. So this is actually relatively new with InDesign. They've not always had this feature. So a couple things when I'm making a new document. I need to make sure that my number of pages, I'm going to set to 3, whatever. I can always add more pages once I have my document created. You do want to make sure that you have facing pages unchecked, because with facing pages, it's going to be a little bit tricky to have these individual page sizes. So I'm going to leave the rest alone at the moment. I can always change the columns and margins later on under my layout menu. I'm going to click OK. And so the first thing I'm going to do is open up my Pages panel. Remember, if you don't see Pages panel over here, just go under your window menu and find Pages. So here I see my 3 different sizes, or 3 different pages. I'm going to put 3 different sizes on them. So if I click number 2, there's a little icon here at the bottom of the Pages panel that says Edit Page Size. It is very basic, very easy. US Business Card, and it changes it. So you can see that now the dimensions, it looks a little larger over here in my thumbnails of pages, but it actually is the proper size, 2 by 3.5. And this is the 8.5 by 11. So if my size isn't listed, say that this page 3 I want to have maybe be a custom postcard, that's a 4 by 6. I can choose to do a custom, and that will allow me a dimension here. So if I say my width is going to be 6 and my height is going to be 4, I'll click OK, and I could name this if I wanted to it right now. That way I could reuse it at another time. Click OK, and so there's my postcard. So that's kind of a nice way to do this. Now if I go up to master pages, remember master pages allow us to set formatting and then apply it to multiple pages. I could do that up here as well. So if I click in the master page area, I can click the new icon and it will make a new master page. The same basically changes apply to the master pages. So I can make this be a business card. So B master is actually a business card. So then if I make a new page down here, oops, I'm still up in, let's go down here. Click on this page so we can get one down here. We don't want to keep adding masters. So here, by default, it added an 8.5 by 11. If I click and drag to apply my B master, it's going to ask me, do you want to use the master page sizes or keep the current page size? Current page size being 8.5 by 11. Master page size being that business card. I do want to use that. And there we go. So now I have another business card. So you can utilize the master pages, or you can individually change your pages, the regular pages. So 2 different ways, same tool though. You're using the same feature here of edit page size. Now one other thing, if you wanted to, you notice that my margins are actually relatively large because this is a 2 by 3.5 and my margins are a half. That's a little obsessive. So I want to go to my layout menu. And I'm going to look for margins and columns. And here I can change my margins. So I can go much, much smaller here to make it more appropriate to what maybe I would have. Or I can choose to not have any and work with a bleed and all of that. So there we go. Ways that we can change those settings. Ways that we can play with and use different page sizes.